Hey guys, Michael here. Before we get started with today's episode, we have a little bit of an announcement. We are now accepting questions from our audience. So if you have a question you want to ask us, doesn't matter what it's about, go ahead and send it to us at idiotsofrandomness@gmail.com. Put questions inside the subject line. Written questions are fine. Audio questions would be even better. Just keep it down to a file size of under 20 megabits and a length of under 1 minute. Please also make sure that these questions are appropriate because I will be screening them and any inappropriate questions will be thrown away. Hope to hear from you guys soon. And now let's get to the episode. Welcome to the Idiots of Randomness, Ep.4, recorded April 26, 2020. You have to really hold, every time, I swear to God, you have to hold.
Okay,
breathe.
Let me talk.
I love. Hold up.
We're off to a great start already.
Can't talk.
Stop.
I can't talk.
Did you just say, let me talk, because you were interrupting yourself?
Yes, I can't talk. Okay,
You were 2 steps shy of telling yourself to shut up.
I need a drink. I need a drink. I can't stop. I need a drink.
It's
All right,
okay.
while he runs off, let's get this whole thing.
Now. Do not stop.
He'll be back.
Welcome to the Idiots of Randomness. I'm your host, Michael McElroy. Meta's gone off to go get something to drink because he literally almost killed himself by choking. But joining us today, yeah, exactly. Joining us today as our special guest, we have a good friend of ours, which is Zork65. I don't know if you want to give your real name to the camera.
That's fine. You can call me Ray. It's fine. RB, Ray, whatever.
Are you Ray Skywalker?
No, but on Pornhub, I'm Sexy Stud Muffin.
Oh my God. So yeah,
someone is gonna hear that and they're gonna do that and they're like, "That's a fantastic username." Sexy Stud Muffin. Sorry,
it's Dick Hardwood. I want him to come back now and see that we've started and what the fuck, guys? He's like, it was perfect timing.
That man looks like a thick logman right there. Anyway,
Okay,
sorry, this is getting really perverse right off the bat. My bad.
No, it's all good. So we'll be honest, this kind of is a little bit of a random podcast because we were all hanging out. We were talking some talking some good shit. We were talking about things we were doing with things that happened with Meta earlier.
Yeah,
and so we decided we're going to record
it.
this shit. That's what happened. Oh, wait. A wild Meta has returned.
Yeah.
A wild Meta has returned.
Glass?
I hate to tell you this. We started without you.
Meta, what are you drinking?
It's a gin and tonic.
It's Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew. Okay, I was like, it does look like pee in a glass.
I almost bring the whole bottle and just annoy you guys.
I brought the whole bottle.
That's fine.
That's different. You like
I brought
Mountain Dew.
The pistachio bag.
I'll be perfectly honest with everybody. I've been drinking a little bit. Nice and comfortable. We're having fun.
Like 6.
Also, I look like I've been baked in an oven for about 4 hours. Because what was it? Today was the first day I actually got a chance in 4 weeks to go out and play a round of golf.
Oh,
the local golf course is reopened near me. They said, okay, you can do social distancing. You can play on a golf course, which I don't know why they closed them to begin with.
I mean, it's like the likelihood of you getting within 6 feet of another person is almost impossible. I mean, you may be waiting or something like that, or maybe using the carts. But I even say don't use the carts.
No, they gave everybody their own cart. It was individual carts. It was
so
when
you
I was
when you returned it, did they immediately start disinfecting it?
Don't know. Didn't stick around long enough. I put it in the queue. Got my shit. Left.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. So I saw something kind of similar to that where I work in a mall. I worked in a mall. That's contextual, but contextual. But they had these you've probably seen them. They're kiddie strollers. You know what I'm talking about?
Is it the ones that shaped like a fire truck or something like that?
Yeah, that's the exact same
Okay,
one.
yeah.
So about maybe a week ago, I remember hearing that the mall was like, we're gonna stop doing certain functions, we're gonna turn off certain things, even once we reopen our doors, but we're doing some preventative measures. And I'm sitting over in my store, and next thing I know, I hear from like down the hall just this, and I'm like, what the is like somebody like shooting something? Like what the heck? I look down, and like in front of like the massive mall entrance, they have taken these things out, and they have like a pressure washer, and they're like just hitting these things as hard as they can.
Damn.
And like I see there's like there's suds flying everywhere, and I'm like, oh shit, they're taking this seriously.
So hold on,
And I'm
this
like,
is in the mall.
This is outside, just outside the
Okay.
door of the mall, where
I was about to
I'm
say.
meeting people to give them their product. So the entire walkway is like a slick, like foamy wet surface now.
Here's your
And,
soggy
it's,
Xbox.
it's like yeah, people can go up to the door and I'll hand them stuff, but then like the people who are pressure washing have to stop everything they're doing, let the water clear out, let the person come up to the door. I hand them their stuff, they go back, and then they just start cleaning again. But it was like they did that for 6 hours, and I'm like,
They couldn't have moved all these to like some like
They could have done it
remote
at another
location,
door,
like the loading dock.
I mean, there's 2 main doors and a loading dock, not even 60 feet from that door, and they're like, now we're just gonna do it at the front
Why?
entrance. It's the closest thing to outside we found. It's like
We don't want to be in
away.
contact with these. Put some
Yeah.
gloves on. Actually, that was the
But, like,
disgusting
just-
thing about the golf course. Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, sorry, go ahead. That was pretty much
Yeah,
my story. What's
yeah,
this
that was
about,
the
golf
disgusting thing
course?
with the golf course. All the trash cans were overflowing. Nobody was
Was
emptying
this
trash
the-
cans.
Was this the golf course you were just at the other day, or was that
No,
today?
Earlier today.
Oh, okay.
That's why I'm like still beet red and
Yeah,
really hot. I mean,
it's
I'm hot
weird
normally.
right now. Like with, I'm living in Kentucky. It is freaking annoying. Like so, Mac.
Yes,
State wise, where do you chill?
I'm in California.
California. So it's pretty much hot all the time.
Yes. We
Okay.
actually no. Usually around this time it's actually relatively cool. Although we went literally from winter to summer in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
It
I
went
feel
from
that,
50
I
degree
feel that.
weather to 90 degree weather. I'm like, what the
Yeah, how about you, Metrone? Like, what kind of like temperate environment do you have? Like, your
Uh,
temperatures.
It gets so hot. Like, not just in summer, but also like basically autumn and spring. They're always
Yeah.
hot. If it gets winter, it will be. I want to say the closest it can get down to will probably be about. Well, actually, it's going to be hard to tell you if the degrees is different.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
Yeah, you use
from where you are.
Celsius. Yeah.
Yeah,
Have you seen snow?
there's okay. I have, but it doesn't snow. It only snows in certain areas. Like
Next time it
mostly
snows in
further
my
down-
state, I'm inviting you to come hang out.
Yeah,
with me.
mostly further down, like near either New South Wales or Victoria, because it does not
Okay.
snow where I'm at.
Yeah,
I get snow very rarely. And it doesn't it never sticks where I live.
I'm in that like Kentucky Bible Belt, like kind of like just super
Praise the
muggy
Jesus.
at all times. Oh god, don't remind me.
But if I wanted to do like skiing or snowboarding, I would just head to like Queenstown, New Zealand. I skied
Yeah.
there once. It was a lot of fun.
I've
never
always
been
wanted to do skiing. I've always wanted to do it though.
I've always wanted to eat all the snow on the mountain just by eating it with my face as I slide down that mountain. I will not be standing.
He just
I
slides
am-
down with his mouth open
I don't
wide.
have
just,
I don't have a lower sense of center of gravity. I'm all the center of gravity, so it's like I'm just like I know I'm gonna fall off these skis at like 4 billion miles an hour and just careen my face against this ice, and I'm like, you know what? Embrace it. Like I
like how you have no
I love
confidence in
winter.
yourself. It's just like fuck it.
Oh
let's do
no,
it.
I am about the. You don't understand. I'm one of the most uncoordinated people out there. For some reason, I'm sneaky as like a 275 6-foot male. I am somehow sneaky, but I'm uncoordinated as hell. I trip over everything. I told you a couple days ago. I kicked my door jamb so hard I turned Super Saiyan 3 by yelling so loud. It was so bad. And it's like I wasn't paying attention, or like I'm just poorly balanced, or I have like equilibrium problems. I just know I can't do things that normally people do, like walk or like ride a skateboard or go.
I can't ride a
I'm
skateboard."
gonna lift my right foot up and not fall over. Like that's not an option for me.
Me on a skateboard
It's so bad.
is a recipe for pure disaster in about 5 seconds.
I've been on a skateboard. I am not good at controlling one.
Say, okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one in that capacity, but like even okay, so who here's been ice skating?
No.
I've no, not ice
Too hot
skating,
here.
but rollerblading.
Roller skating.
I have.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I don't do either of those, mostly because I associate it with a traumatic memory of mine. I guess I.
Oh,
So
this is
for
Dr.
the
Fraser
record,
Crane.
I have-
I'm listening.
Let me just lean back. All right. So it all started. No, but what happened was a lot of members of my family do know how to ice skate, or they've ice skated before in some capacity. I have never put on a pair of like skates. I've never done it. Like I've done inline ring skating and stuff, but I've never done ice skating because I distinctly remember as a kid. I don't remember what game it was, but I was watching ice hockey, and I think it was like the Buffalo or something like the Buffaloes, and one of the guys was going up. He was getting ready to hit the puck into the net, but the goalie was there, and the goalie went up for a cross, like a block, caught the guy in the chest. Guy fell back, and his skate went up underneath the guard's neck guard, and it cut open his throat. I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna get too visceral, but I was 6, and I saw this, and it was that
You saw the whole thing when you were 6.
It was like, well, so for just to give you kind of just that like the way my brain sort of registers, everything is in black and white because it's got that like the really like white pristine
you need to turn up the saturation.
And well, in my brain it doesn't work that way. And just I remember how red the blood was, and I just remember he was on the ground, and you could just see all this, like it literally looked like a waterfall. And now, if you are squeamish, please close your ears and whatnot for the next 10 seconds, and I will clap to show you when you can listen again. Do it so now. 1, 2, 3. I watched as the coach went over and literally put his hand in the guy's throat to close off the artery. On live television. It was traumatic. Hold on.
Wait, it was on telly.
This was live television. Hold on 1 second.
That would have had to blur that bit out.
Okay. Yeah, you can censor that, or put a disclaimer like incoming gore warning or whatever. But you get my point. It traumatized me as a kid, and I'm like, skates are dangerous.
You saw that when you were 6 years old. It is
thank
just
you. Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ.
I have a
up.
lot of like trauma and neuroses as a kid, mostly just due to accidents. I think I've told Metrone this story. I don't know about you, Mac. I don't want to dominate with Zork's story time, but
no, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah,
they hear enough of our stories in regular podcasts.
Who all have I told about the scar on my face? I think is it my right side or my left?
I want to know how you got these scars.
It's this one, yeah, right here. So
how did you get?
I didn't even see
this
the scar. All right, I didn't see it.
It's right there. Hang on.
Oh yeah, okay. I
yeah. So
yes.
this thing was a lot more pronounced as a kid. It was actually closer to about here when I was a kid, but then again, when you get older, your skin stretches.
That also.
So, you once you get like the baby weight off, you're good.
Oh no, I have Richard Nixon jowls. I can literally go.
Yeah, okay. You get like the baby pinch cheeks from grandma. But what happened was I was about I want to say maybe 4, 5, or 6, same sort of time period as that, and I was always fascinated with like mechanisms, like mechanical stuff, and we had one of the like washing machines that had like the center pillar. And you put the detergent and you spin it a little bit to get the water started, and then it would just kind of churn. It's like a churn kind of thing. And I just remember as like I was a kid, I was like, I love this thing. It's science, like that sort of thing. And I would sit on the edge, so my feet would be like dangling in. But once again, I'm a little kid, so it's not doing anything. Like it would be in like the bin, but the thing was like a small churn, so it wasn't like taking up any space. And I would swish it around, do your thing, whatever, what have you. And for some reason this day, I was off balance. Talking about coordination. So the machine starts up, and we were getting ready. She was going like one of my family members. I'm not gonna say specifics. It was not my mother, but she grabbed me and she was gonna take me off there. And it started up, and I fell backwards off this machine. So we're talking about maybe 3 to 4 foot drop. Not too
bad.
terrible.
Ooh, okay.
As like a kid, but it's like I'm 6, so I'll bounce. It's fine.
You're bounce as a kid.
Kids at that age,
the
they're made
problem
of
with it
rubber.
was, so I was there, and then next to me was a hot water heater as well. So that was really rough to be with. And I put my hand on it, and I burnt my hand a little bit. That's not the bad part, but I did that, and I pushed off, and I fell even further back into the corner. They had put something in that corner just because it was like a sharp metal object and it was away from all the other stuff, and it was I think it's called a pipe rivet. It's basically the tool you get when you have like a solid metal tube and you put the tube through the thing and it cores it essentially.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And I fell face first on top of it because it was standing up. They said two things. I learned this very later on. They said if it had been any higher on my face, it would have gone through my eye socket and it would have pierced my skull and probably I would have probably been brain dead. Very likely.
Ooh.
The other option was lower. It would have gone through my cheekbone, gone through the teeth, through the roof of my mouth, into my brain.
So basically, you narrowly missed out.
They said there was a solid 89% chance I should have died. More than I honestly, I can't believe that number.
Fuck.
But it caught the cheekbone right here, so it basically hit a hard edge, cut it only about halfway, and then I fell off. Which is honestly one of these. If you're a parent and this happens to your child, please don't scream at them. I love my relatives, but like the child is freaking out. You are allowed to freak out too, but like
you have to be the voice of reason and calm.
You have to take a minute. You have to take that second and just breathe and go into parent mode. You have to do something like that. My parents did that, thank to God. But like, please understand that as an adult, shit will happen to children. You have to handle it the best you can.
It's a scary thing to happen to your children.
See, I love
because I remember
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
I love the fact that you have like this very intricate story to how you got the cheek in your face. Like you could probably see the scar on my forehead here.
Yeah, I can see.
You want to know how I got that?
Headbutted a door.
Close. I ran into a door jam when I was 2.
2?
Yeah, it's still there.
Yeah.
I have
little kids. I mean,
yeah,
little kids are so durable. Sometimes
almost all of the scars that I have are self-inflicted.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from this one right here on the bridge of my nose, I got bit by my dog. Yeah. No.
Oh,
seriously,
dude.
that dog attacked me, and it was just.
Oh, like legit.
Was it your?
Yeah.
Was it your dog?
It was our dog. What had happened? The dog had his name is Max. Max had run away for like a good week and a half, and when he came back, he had marks all over him that he was clearly in fights and whatnot. So and it was late at night. I was probably 5 years old at the time. And I just normal thing, go tell my dad goodnight, tell my mom. I stepped over him for one time, just tell my mom goodnight. And I went to step back over him like I'd done dozens of times before. But I guess I freaked him out and he turned around, he reacted on that. So I don't hold anything against the dog for doing that, but yeah.
He might have just been paranoid.
No, and I think that's what it was.
That dog went through some like thug life stuff and he was like, I can't stand this baby.
Yeah.
I can't stand this baby.
I mean... The only other scars I have I have 2 on my left hand. There's one you can't really see it here. I sliced my hand open with a knife. And then I have
wait, was that when you hit your desk really hard, or was that something else?
No, that was I got a little cut on my hand because I popped
you remember when you bang your desk so high and you split yourself?
I don't know what you're talking about. I never hit my desk out of anger.
Never. He would
never.
He would
never
I definitely don't have pieces of my PlayStation 4 controller here to prove it.
I was about to say, you wouldn't have a damaged controller just lying around to prove that statement false, you know?
Yeah, and there's the other part.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other thing I have is on my thumb. I decided when I was peeling potatoes, instead of peeling the potato, I peeled my thumb.
Oh.
What?
But yeah.
You just do that. I mean, that's when you go, like, cool, I could peel this potato, or I could try my thumb. I wonder if the potato feels this, you know? Like, you wonder about the potato's feelings in this.
No, but going back to what you're saying about when you fell on your face, you're definitely right. When my dog actually did that to my face, my parents jumped immediately into parent mode.
Yeah. I think
Dad got the dog outside.
About, like, when you become, like, a parent, like, chemistry in your body changes, and you become more aware of things.
I've seen tons of videos, like, Jedi fathers that, like,
I feel
falls off the couch and poof.
I feel like if I was a father, I would probably be very protective of my son or daughter, just roaming around when they're young.
Kids at some point, my future kids.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, this is
a
father.
Let's be directly. Yeah. If I was a mom, this would be shocking.
Why'd you say this as crunk?
Sorry, I couldn't get as low as for Patrick. If I was a mom, this would be shocking. but that's actually something that like I think oh fuck. Okay, this is gonna sound weird, but did anybody here have like you go to the girlfriend's house and you go into and like he's like, oh, let me introduce you to my parents, and like you get the dad, and did any of you guys have where their dad was cleaning a gun?
No,
Like
no.
that didn't happen to me. I'm just waiting to see if it happened because I hear about this. Like friends were like, yeah, the first time I saw her, it was great, and then I was gonna take her to prom, and then 2 weeks before prom, she's like, oh, my dad wants to meet you, and it's like, oh yeah, sure. And he was like cleaning his shotgun on the porch. I'm like,
yeah, I've never had that happen to me, but my history teacher did that to one of his daughter's boyfriends. It was fucking hilarious.
He's polishing the gun, just getting ready to shoot you, just like.
no, that's not what I would be doing. I would not be like.
Okay.
There you go. See, for
It's
me,
like
I think it would even be better. I would have like knowing me, just because I'm so socially and awkward and stuff. I would get like
you would drop
go to
it.
a medieval. No. What I would do is I would go to like a medieval like Renaissance festival, buy the biggest fucking like axe I could, and like get like I'm like cool, Chad, come here, like just Chad. His name's like Chad. Come check this out, man. Like this is my collection of hockey masks, and you know what? I really like this one. This one's got the cleanest edge I've ever had. I mean, it could. Have you seen this thing cut bone? It's great, and like just just clearly shock this kid. But like you're playing off that old. You're like, oh, I'm gonna claim my shotgun in front of. He's like, fucker, I'm taking old beheader.
Actually, a friend of mine, his dad did that
So
for his
stupid.
sister. And what he did is his dad had cohorted him and his brother. And he's Hispanic, and so they went for like his stereotypical Hispanic thing possible, like with the wife beater tank tops and just like intimidate the shit out of the white boy.
I'm gonna say this, and if it's the wrong word, I'm sorry. I think it's like cholo. Is that what it is? I think?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
This is.
I don't want to say something like really offensive. And
No,
like,
this is coming straight from the
racial
story when he told
slur
me
and
it.
just drop it. Okay.
Basically, he wanted
God,
his
that'd be awesome.
his father wanted to scare the shit out of the white boy,
Mm-hmm.
and so he went for the full stereotype. It was
Mhm.
glorious. I love that story so much when he tells it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, man.
Honestly,
Me and Zork are going off on a
yeah.
complete tangent.
We're
here.
dominating this.
He's just
I
here
think it's
like,
because we're so
"Hello."
similar in
Hello.
culture, like where we're like, it's like, oh, I'm bonding with another person from America.
No,
So
but
I-
we're just learning each other
Yeah.
how we're very vulnerable children at the time.
Yeah. Children are the most delicate yet not delicate things in the world. Like to be savagely like insulted by a 6-year-old, you're like, I want to kill you, but it's illegal.
Well,
And not just like, oh, I murdered someone. It's like, oh man, if I murder a child, I get in so much more trouble than just murdering his father. Like it's like that level of like thought processes. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's like, but like 6-year-olds will have no chill. They're like, bro, how'd you get so fucking fat? Like, I'm like, I can't be mean to
Oh,
you.
don't exercise that much.
Oh no,
Sorry,
there are
oh.
times where you want to slap the kids, particularly in movies.
Mm.
And me and Meta discussed this on the last podcast.
Get right, someone's about to knock on my
Yeah.
door. Yep. I am going to do exercise. And as I was saying,
Hi, Dad. Bye, Dad.
Was there a 6-year-old at your door calling you fat and then you have to exercise more?
I like how that's coming from the guy that literally has the KFC bucket in the background.
yeah,
Thank
I was about
First
to say
off,
that. That's-
fuck you for
they're
that.
sponsoring.
You can blur that. That's a movie prop, and actually, this eventually.
That's a movie.
How is that a movie prop?
Allow me to explain. I was doing a short film for a buddy of mine. It was a Christmas special. It's hard to tell, but it's got the Christmas like logos and stuff on it.
Ah,
And the whole point was the bit was hitting the fucking bucket.
oh,
Okay,
I've
I
ruined
just
it.
frisbeed across the room.
That is something I do think we want to listen to you talk about is what gets you into doing voice acting? What got you basically into that?
Being a lonely sibling. I have a twin brother, for those who don't know, but my brother and I are almost like completely different people in almost every aspect.
Can I ask real quick? Identical or fraternal?
Yeah. We're fraternal.
Okay.
When we were younger, I mean, much like most twins, you look similar to your twin when you're young. But if you're a fraternal twin, probably about the age 13, 14, you start to really sort of separate. And we used to always watch cartoons as a kid. I mean, we grew up with like Dexter's Lab, Johnny Bravo and stuff like that. And then like when SpongeBob and stuff
about
took off,
late 90s cartoons.
And like I just remember it was always just so cool to hear these funny character voices, and part of it also stems from my deep love of Lord of the Rings. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell without turning everything. Right there, there is a statue from the collector's edition of the Lord of the Rings Shadow of War. It's the big Balrog fighting the dragon. I'm a diehard Lord of the Rings fan. So, but one of my favorite characters in that is Gollum. Gollum is such a unique character, and
that's a hard voice.
Just sounded
but also,
so cool.
Andy Serkis as an actor is really good.
Underrated.
Do yourself a treat.
Underrated, yes, and I'm surprised by that.
Mm-hmm. Does he have an Oscar? I don't think he does.
No,
that's what makes it so weird.
There is no Oscar for that kind of stand-in role
for outstanding motion performance or something like that.
Yeah. And he's done that multiple times.
That should be. Screw that.
I mean, for his work as Gollum or Smeagol, depending on who you want to talk to. I mean, is for his work as Caesar for the Planet of the Apes series.
He was also King Kong in Peter Jackson's King Kong.
Yeah,
I mean, the man is tremendous and gives everything he can physically into those roles. And I'm sorry, if they don't give him eventually like a lifetime achievement award for acting, I mean, that's just a misstep.
I mean, it was also Snoke too in the
was he
sequel.
Snoke? I didn't.
He was Snoke.
That was Snoke.
That doesn't surprise me, but I didn't know that.
Yeah, but do yourself a treat, by the way. If you love behind the scenes, like how they make movies, watch everything from the Lord of the Rings, especially anytime that Andy's on there. Like how he talks about what he does in how he gets in the costume, how he gets into the character. I think he has like an assistant or something like that brings him like it looks like a thermos, but like a squeeze thermos. Like a squeeze thermos, with like what looks to be like grossest version of honey you can imagine. But he's referred to it's got like a white masking tape label that said Gollum juice. He lists what's in it. It's got ginger, lemon, honey, and like 4 or 5 other things, and he says it's thick and you can only consume it when it's almost boiling hot or like super warm. So he's like, it's like you're literally drinking the grossest form of like mucus you can, and it's warm. I'm sorry for anybody who's trypophobic. He says, and it coats your vocal cords, but it allows them to do their Gollum voice.
Oh, that's disgusting.
I can talk like this. And it's like he does that, and it's like it's nuts.
Oh, one thing I always wondered how an actor copes with especially when Mark Ruffalo's doing the Hulk or Andy Serkis is doing any one of his characters. How do you get into the character that you're playing when you're literally wearing a spandex leotard with a bunch of dots on?
Well, sometimes they do a lot of they do different type of experiences before they play out the character. Like they might try and do something to get you into the mind of it. Basically, I think I watched, I forget what it was, but there was what was it? Penguins of Madagascar, where they had, was it, what's his name? John somebody? He was playing the villain in that movie, the octopus.
I've never seen the movie, so
I've never seen the Penguins of Madagascar.
Okay, well,
movie,
so he said he went through something to make him, he felt like all like, wobbly, wiggly, like he felt like he was moving like an octopus. So when he's like voice acting, he's also speaking a bit like that. Like,
well, the other he represents the animal or something.
Basically,
The other half of that is when you're an on-screen actor trying to act against something that's not there. Like Ben Stiller in Nightmare or Night of the Museum.
Yeah,
he's running from the T-Rex.
There was a bit where it was in actually the Hobbit movies where so they did 2 screenings where they record the small frame where you'd have the dwarves on a certain scale because they would double size the room, and Gandalf was on a half scale. There's a scene in there where Gandalf is having to in Bilbo's house talk to all the dwarves. Sir Ian McKellen constantly talked about, he goes, that was one of the hardest shoots he's ever had to do because he felt he was failing himself as an actor because he kept making mistakes where he couldn't address them. He's like, I should be able to do this. I should just be able to look at this tennis ball that represents this guy and just do my lines. I should be able to. But the brain wasn't letting him do it. And it's like, that's one of those challenges to do when you have Yeah,
because you have to try and get into the mind. It's actually, one example is with Dobby the House Elf in Chamber of Secrets.
Yes.
Daniel Radcliffe had to be talking to I want to say a big puppet or statue doll of Dobby. He kept talking to the thing to
Yeah.
get into the mind that he's talking to Dobby when he's not actually there, when he's doing the shots.
So, two things. I found the recipe for Gollum juice.
Oh,
It's online.
They have
so-
that?
Yeah.
I kind of want to try it, but it sounds really disgusting.
Yeah,
It does.
it's actually apparently it's also good for sore throat and cold remedy.
It does sound like
4
a
cups
cold-
of water. Yeah, 4 cups of water, 1 teaspoon of diced ginger, cubed ginger works well and dissolves in the water well. 3.5 tablespoons of honey and 1 full lemon. So you bring it to a boil, put the ginger in, strain the ginger out of the water, mix in the honey and the lemon, and you just pour it and you bring it back to a soft boil. Somebody was driving by, and it's like
Yep,
serve
that was,
it.
that was outside my
And specifically, it says
window,
serve
sorry.
warm. You're good, man. Serve warm, and I'm like, God, that just the texture that I can imagine. Because I mean, one, ginger has a very distinct flavor. Like ginger and lemon can work together, but I can't imagine ginger and honey and lemon working together. It's just it's got to be like
Well,
It
I
sounds
don't
like
think
you're
lemon
drinking syrup.
mostly.
yeah, it's gonna be so thick. But something that actually that we do I want to talk about, like when you said you doing voice acting and stuff like that, there's a lot of different techniques people use. My personal technique is what is referred to as a register. When you say like how do you get into a character's mindset, when I do impersonations, I repeat certain phrases or words basically to trigger the emotional response.
So
Think of it
basically,
like-
to get in the tone, right? Basically,
Yeah, great example. Great understanding of that. So basically, it's like you say something to be able to get in the character's mindset. So for I think John DiMaggio, who's done everything under the sun from Bender to the Joker to Marcus Phoenix. When he
Bender.
did Marcus Phoenix, he would have a grunt, just the dumb, like that sort of thing. He would just
yeah.
he would do something just come
do-
on.
Yeah, he would
Like,
do
do that
one
sort of
thing,
thing.
just to take it off, and then he does the actual thing with the tone.
With whenever I do say like Patrick's impersonation, the reason why I had such a hard time doing it is I couldn't do the register. Is the SpongeBob, we have a problem. Mr. Krabs' dollar's gone. Like it's like that sort of thing. You have to have I use the register to basically almost like get in key, or like like when you're tuning a guitar, you hit that note.
Oh yeah.
Also, a lot of actors have they have a
Yeah.
unique voice to them where they can take Tom Kenny, who plays SpongeBob. He's got that
Fantastic.
He's got a different type of register where he can it basically makes up a personality where you can make like a character with a higher register voice, basically.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's not going into falsetto yet, which is like more like haha, like Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
He has this very weird way because he actually does something that most people don't recommend doing is was referred to as vocal distortion, where he actually will affect his throat. There's a great one, and I can't remember the name of the character. It's been years.
Was it Billy? Or was it?
No, it's
Grim
still
Adventures of Billy and Mandy, or was that something else?
no. That's somebody else. That's somebody else. That's the guy who also does Zim from Invader Zim, which is great.
Is that the same dude?
Yeah, same dude. Same guy who's Billy is Invader Zim. When you learn more about voice acting, you realize, oh my god, there's like 50 voice actors, and they all do their own characters, and like 45 other characters.
Oh no! When I watch
like,
animated series or like anything, I play voice actor bingo. I try
Like,
to place people when I hear the voice.
I didn't know this, but like it blew my mind because I used to watch the Justice League cartoon back in the old days. Freaking the Green Lantern
It's Samurai
is
Jack
Samurai Jack blew my mind, and then he's also
also Virgil
Hermes
Hawkins.
Conrad.
and Hermes.
Yeah, he's he's the Rastafarian accountant who's also like just oh my god, it blew my mind on that. But with the thing with Tom Kenny, and it was amazing. I did get a chance to meet him, and I wish I could do it again.
Yeah, I heard that.
Have
You
you never-
did
Mac,
mention
have you
this to
never
me
heard
that you
this?
met him.
Yeah, it was so cool. It was in Chicago at a comic book convention, and God, it was amazing. It was this was like 3 years ago, so I think it was SpongeBob was going off the air at the time, but I don't think that's what happened.
Like
they
when
stop-
was
he,
this? Would
Did
you
they
say?
stop making SpongeBob?
No, I
think
think they're
they
still
were-
making SpongeBob.
Did
I don't
they?
know.
They announced something like 3 years ago. I don't remember what it was, but anyway, what the thing was, he was doing. I can't remember the name of the character, but I just watched him do it, and I'm like, I could never do that properly. Where he literally was almost choking himself to do the character.
Was this in
Where-
a movie or TV show?
This was actually if you get a chance, it's called Twisted Tunes. This is actually recorded. If you get a chance, watch it. He was doing the show. They were doing Ferris Bueller's Day Off script, but they would read it as like different cartoon characters. If you get a chance, Twisted Tune is one of my favorite things to do. So like you'll have they did like
I want Patrick to play the principal.
Twisted Tunes. Is that like a YouTube channel?
Your ass
yeah,
is mine.
it's called Twisted Tunes. And it's I can't remember the guy whose name is hosted, but he's done hundreds of these things, or maybe close to 50 to 60 at least. But he'll go to conventions and he'll get the voice actors at the conventions. So there was one where they did like Star Wars, and it had Maurice LaMarche, John DiMaggio, Billy West, Tara Strong. God, there's like 6 other people.
Tara Strong has done a lot of voices over the past years.
But it was the first Star Wars film, and they had Kevin Conroy come in, who is Batman. And he narrated Star Wars and was sitting next to like Billy West. And I'm like, oh, Billy West and Batman.
So was he like, was Kevin Conroy, was he doing like lines from the Star Wars? Was it Clone
Batman,
Wars? Or?
As Batman. No,
it was Batman. That is sick.
It was episode 4, like intros. It's like,
I think it was
Enter
it Tom Kenny
Death Star.
Tom Crane. Was it Tom Crane who does the narration for the Star Wars?
Oh, I don't know that.
Whoever plays Admiral Yularen.
Yeah, okay. No, he's not dead, is he?
No, he's still alive because they're doing new Clone Wars.
Okay, yeah.
And he's still narrating.
Enter! Like this sort of thing.
A galaxy at war.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what it was.
The planet of Naboo is under attack. It's like, he's kind of got like a very almost like robotic, but like clearly a propaganda voice, that sort of thing. But I watched Tom Kenny do this, and I'm going to try it.
But it's Tom Kane. Yep, it's Tom Kane.
Yeah, for anybody who has squeamish ears, prepare yourself.
This is going to hurt because it's practically like crushing my vocal cords.
Hey, man, it's like he's talking like this, and he's going around. He's going, oh, man, that's some really harsh shit you got there.
He's almost close to doing...
Ferris, we have a problem.
Almost close to doing Wild.
Your dad's car is wrecked.
Like, it was so painful, and he's like,
yeah, that's some good shit.
And it's like, it's really hard to do.
Chocolate.
Also with SpongeBob.
Chocolate.
I always hated it.
See, I can actually do that.
Chocolate. I love chocolate.
Like, I can do that one without it.
But the other one is just like he's in the back of your throat, like right here, and you're going, sweetie, bring me my cigarettes.
It's like, it's like that. It's so painful. But like Tom Kenny does that vocal distortion stuff, and I try not to do it because it's so restrictive. I did that.
It hurts, yeah.
I did that with an audition, and I was going to send in the audition, but I'm like, if they ask me to do more for this character, it will destroy my vocals. And I also learned that project was not.
Do you do the auditions online, or do you actually go to a like center or something
online
to do the audition online?
Most of the stuff with voice acting you're gonna do is gonna find online. I have not had amazing success. Don't think that I'm getting paid right now to be.
No. But like, I mean, it's with auditions, like tons of people audition, and only like one of you is gonna get the role. It happens.
I mean, it depends. Certain roles are weird. Like I'll give you the rundown of what was going to happen with me. It was for an indie game. It ended up being 18 plus, and I rescinded my application. I didn't want to be part of that. But it's to each their own. If that's how you want to start in voice acting, go for it. You do you, or somebody else by vocals. But that's not important. The character I was going to be trying out for was a minion-based character. It was supposed to be a regular common enemy that would appear in the game, and you would do background chatter. That was the whole point. And it was like kind of like a Mega Man like offshoot. So everything was like computer tech wise.
Oh, okay, yep.
And the character I was going to be playing was called Hood.Boy, HOOD.BOI. So he was like a basically low level operating function. And they were like, cool, we need you to just do little minion monster noises, whatever you want to do. And I don't sound like, as a normal person, a minion level character or like a little squeak like without sounding like from Alabama. So I was like, cool, I'll do vocal distortion. I had like practiced and like watched other people do it, and I felt comfortable. And they said, we want you to do probably close to 5 minutes of audio, just trying things, come up with something. And I did about 30 minutes of it, and I could feel like the back of my vocal cords were breaking. Where I was like, if they want me to come back again, I can't do extended sessions. I don't have 1 to practice, 2 I wasn't properly prepared for it because I hadn't done my vocal exercises. That is key. Please, for the love of God, if you're going to do anything voice related, vocal exercises. It is the safest thing to do for you because you will not hurt yourself. Like just a I know it's not proper, but just please just do everything you can to keep your voice safe. If you're going to do something with your voice and it's going to be challenging, do the vocal exercises.
Yeah, if you want to take voice acting to a new level where you're doing like impressions, you're gonna you have to be careful with what you're doing.
Range is important, but safety is the most important. You don't want to
just don't
destroy your
overdo
voice,
it. Just don't overdo it. Yeah.
But that's what happened to me. So I did those voices, and I was like,
"How you doing, sweetheart?" Like that sort of thing, and they're like,
I love that voice.
"Quick, boys, we gotta get him."
and I was just straining my voice so bad, and it was hurting to the point where I literally stopped, and I felt tears out of my eyes, where I was like, I can't do this. And I responded to this like, look, I can't. I had already sent in an application going like, hey, I'd like to do this. I'm unexperienced. What do you want me to do? And they responded like, hey, 5 minutes. That's all you need. And I said, I can't do this character the way that I would like to and safely. And they said, don't worry. If we have another part, we'll let you know. And they sent me a link to the other part, which is when I learned it was 18 plus. And I was like,
oh yeah.
There was it was a .dik. Let's put it that way.
Oh shit.
And I was like, I am out of the. I was like, I appreciate the offer,
DTF.
man, but I'm gonna have to pass on this. And he's like, He's like, oh, it's fine. Do you, man? It's like more power to you. I have yet to see it get.
Sounds
put up
like
on
these
Steam.
guys are pretty nice.
But it was a very interesting learning experience for me, where I was very shocked that they responded to me. That's very uncommon. Typically, when you leave a project, they don't respond to you. If you say like, look, I apologize, I can't do this one. Basically, you're saying you don't have to contact me. They were kind of said, we understand. Thank you for trying. And that was really unheard of in most situations. Usually, once again, you apply and you say you change your mind, you don't do the project, or you can't do the project. It just goes out. So it's very different. But anyway, to get us back on the topic, like voice acting is a passion project for me. It's not something I imagine I'm not going to be the next, Troy Baker or,
you need to be the next Mark Hamill. You need to be the next Mark Hamill.
I don't, no, don't make me be the next Mark Hamill. That's too big of boots.
Those are some seriously
Why
big
so
boots.
serious?
Why so serious?
Oh, Batsy.
Oh, I do indeed like my surprises.
It's like, it's just, that is such a great character, and I don't want to have to try and replicate it.
Yeah.
I mean, have mad respect for all the original like voice actors and stuff throughout these years. I mean, any person who's done cartoon voice acting for, the generations that I grew up as a child, or still growing up because I still watch cartoons, mad props to them. Like, if you do that, I mean, that is an entire acting category that
I think a lot of people that think of voice acting would be like, Jeff Bennett, was it Wat Paulson, and Jim Cummings as well, who does a lot of voices.
a lot of those.
I think Jim Cummings, he does a lot of like, for Disney, he do roles of like characters like Winnie the Pooh, like he replaces the person who originally did Winnie the Pooh. So,
well, I mean,
he does a lot of that.
Even Billy West has been doing that a lot too. Have you ever noticed like kind of the stuff he reprises? Because I mean, he's pretty much half of what like Looney Tunes is now. He's Porky Pig. He's like, I think he's like 2 or 3 others as well.
He's like the next Mel Blanc.
Yeah, Mel Blanc. Yeah, it's so.
Is it Blanc or Blanc?
Like, it's Blanc. He's French, isn't he?
It's also what was it? Frank
if I'm wrong,
Welker. Like you remember him?
What's up?
Like Frank Welker. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He did Scooby Doo back when Scooby Doo first happened. Like actually, he's been doing that role for like how many years has that been?
I will stand by. There's not a bad Scooby Doo.
No, I mean there have been like not the best Scooby Doo's, but there's never been like a super bad Scooby Doo.
Where I
no
wasn't
super
happy.
Bad. Unless you count the movies, I don't know. What do you
I
have?
love the movies. That's the thing.
Wait, hold on. Are we talking about the animated movies or the live action movies?
I'm talking
live
anything.
action.
Like I don't think there's
like
a
the live
Scooby Doo
action
edition
ones.
I don't love. Like all of them are so unique in their own perspective, but they are so fun. Like you can't knock old Scooby Doo. Like the Harlem Globetrotters episode, Batman episode. Like just the guest ones are worth it, but then even then you have like the old classics. The
Black Knight.
The Black Knight, and
Also,
you had the Creeper, like that sort of thing. Like,
no, that's how you do. Creeper.
Also, it was a bit upsetting to hear that was it the voice actor for Shaggy. He passed away in, I think it was 2014.
That's the old one, no, not the new one, right?
No. He's played the character for like Shaggy for like since
played
the
for
beginning.
almost 60 years. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
That's
like it's
crazy.
hard to think of anybody else who would like do as well as him because he's been a great Shaggy. Like
Since we brought up Scooby Doo, and I was thinking about like all the different cameos they had throughout the old years. Please tell me you guys have watched the Supernatural episode with Scooby and the gang show up.
Oh, I think I'm.
Oh, so
I've seen
okay,
at one point.
have you guys never? Okay, who here watched? Raise your hand, and if you just say yes. If you watch Supernatural, I burn my arm.
I do not
ignore the red
watch
spot.
Supernatural. I do not watch Supernatural.
When,
I don't know what that is.
When you hit season 12,
12.
when in season 12 they had a great one. It was a crossover episode where they were investigating a haunted shop, and inside it they had it's really weird. The actors were in real life, like it was Sam and Dean. They go in, they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna check out this thing out, and they buy a TV or something like that, and it's like cursed, and they get sucked into the TV. So they like Sam and Dean and oh my god, what is the name of their car? I'm gonna fucking flip my mind. Anyway, they get teleported into the episode of Scooby Doo, and like you have the gang, and they're like, oh, we have a mystery on our hands. They're like,
Hey,
and
gang.
Sam's like,
We
Dean,
guys
I
have a
think we're in a
mystery.
cartoon episode, and he goes like, I know this episode. It's like Dean like knows what's gonna happen, and like, they're in the car, and like they challenge the Mystery Machine to a drag race. The Mystery Machine fucking destroys them, and like Dean's like, this is bullshit, and Fred's like, you probably should get a better car, and Dean is like, you Scott wearing motherfucker. Like it gets really adult. Like it's such a great episode. Like it ends
sounds
up
like
where.
Sorry, guys.
Oh, it's so good. Please, just if you get a chance. Oh god, what's the name of that episode? You
This sounds
have
like
to
an
watch
episode
it.
of what is it? I don't know if you've ever watched Star Trek DS9.
A little bit, yeah. I've watched.
I've never seen
Star
it.
Trek. Never
Okay.
like full seasons.
So there's an episode of Star Trek DS9 which they go back in time, and they end out going to the original series episode Trouble with Tribbles. So and it's like and they're having to interact with it. And I have to say, I mean, for 1990s technology, the way that they cut the DS9 actors into the original footage was beautiful. You couldn't. There was like no like obvious mapping or anything like that. It was really well done.
It was okay. I remember the episode's name was Scooby Natural.
Scooby Natural.
Hold on, I gotta find this.
I want to say it's season 12 or 13.
I need to see
but
this episode.
It's so good. It's on Netflix.
Would you say
I think.
would you say if I needed to get a flavor for Supernatural, that's a good episode?
Yeah, I'd honestly, if you can, watch the first season. I think because that's probably like where they set the tone the best. And
What,
there's
the first
characters that
season?
the first honestly, Supernatural. Wow, God, it gets so much hate for being such a fangirl and fanboyish show. It's just fun. It reminds me of the old days of like Buffy the Vampire Slayer and stuff like that, which was a huge fan of the Joss Whedon stuff back in the 90s and like early 2000s.
Oh, it was
But, like,
season.
if
It was season 13, by the way.
I was close. See, I was close.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember if it was 12 or 13. But yeah, Scooby Natural is well worth a watch if you just need a good laugh. Honestly, it's one of my favorites.
You know what I think is probably one of the most abusive like cartoons I've seen is like Tom and Jerry. Just like okay, like
That's golden age
Yeah.
cartoon right there.
And that's the thing. There's no voice acting.
None.
Like, there's
There's a little bit. Sometimes they have, like,
some
the- like,
random
the-
voice
the
that
lady.
just comes out of nowhere for like a minute
Or
a
the
moment,
dog- or
and
like,
that's
the-
it.
Remember, Tom, go kill that mouse for me by the end of the day, or you're not getting any food.
You
And
have,
it's like,
you have the human
or the-
characters just see their legs, so you can't actually.
Or
like,
you have
he
the
just
like
waves his
the
hand
like
at
the
him.
dogs, like the parent dog.
the cat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the bulldog. Or
Bull-
like,
I
that's my
forget.
boy.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like the other cats are like, yeah, you killed that mouse yet, Tom? Tom? It's like, he's like, oh, you better do that. It's like they always like had the sassy friends who were like from Jersey.
Or the most classic line to take out of context in the modern days during the Three Musketeers episode with like the little gray mouth.
Oh,
Pussy.
yeah.
Oh, pussy, pussy.
God, I forgot that was a thing. I like almost purged it from my brain at that point.
Oh,
but,
no, it's back.
Like, yeah, that's back. You stuck a meme in my brain, and now it's
I think the
stuck.
only character that actually had dialogue was Nipples, the other mouse that would if you
You mean
remember.
Nibbles?
Nipples, that was it.
Not nipples.
Hey, I was just the nipples in Tom and Jerry? No.
Mouse.
Are you talking about Nipples? Oh yeah, that's the dude. That's the dude right there.
Nipples.
Hey guys, you want to see this character design? What's the character's name? Nipples.
This sounds like the
fuck.
X-rated version of Tom and Jerry.
Oh man, he needs his own Pornhub account now.
Yeah, but
Nipples the mouse.
Nipples, he's probably the only character that actually has somewhat, like, he has dialogue in the show.
He had like regular recurring like lines.
That, and,
Yeah.
that and the duck. Or the little
Oh, yeah,
duck.
the duck.
Oh,
did-
the duck. Yeah, I forgot about the
I
duck.
will say though, like Tom always has like this really weird like voice in my head of like he's almost like sarcastic. But there was the one episode they did where like the mouse that was like a bomb experiment. You remember that one? Like where it was like
I
a
think-
white albino mouse.
I feel like I would have seen that episode,
Yeah. So but Jerry would go around. He would paint himself white and stuff like that, and he would basically steal all the cheese and things like that.
Yeah,
and he would always
I've
hold
seen
the
that
picture.
episode.
He was like, "Yep, I'm a bomb. You can't touch me." And it's like then the mouse, of course, they tried places. Tom
I like
kicks him, and he's like in this line of like, "Don't you believe it?" And I'm like, it ruined it for my brain. I was like,
Yeah,
Tom
okay,
does
like,
not.
there's a lot,
Tom does not sound like that.
like a lot of times when they bring up like Tom speaking, it sounds like he does that sort of voice, and I'm like, where did
He's
this
just
come
like
from?
American dude voice, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"God, you ruined Tom for me. Tom Canton was not sounding like that. He's not a middle-aged white guy." It's
Okay,
like, you
so
know,
what
that
is
sort of
what
thing.
does Jerry sound like?
He's,
I don't
mean,
think that he's ever going to voice.
I think
I don't
he
think he
never
ever
did,
I think
but,
there was a movie a long time or a while back.
There
that
was a
they-
movie, yeah.
probably.
Okay, there was
Yeah.
a Tom and Jerry, Tom and Jerry the movie. That's the movie where they actually talk for some
Yes.
reason.
But
Yes.
I can't remember
Such
the
a
voices.
terrible idea.
I've,
It's been
Look, you
so
can't-
long since I've seen that. Like,
But it's not voices you can actually impersonate. Basically, it's sort
So-
of very generic.
so like we're talking about like cartoons that like stuck with you as a child, like
Yeah.
the ones that
Looney
retain their memory.
Tunes. Looney
Yeah,
Tunes.
you know what I like about like Scooby Doo like now, like
Yeah.
what when you get what I would notice about what I like is just the comedy and the creativity that it had. Because like so a good example is when they
Sorry.
try and lock the door.
Again.
They basically push like say a shelf in front of the door. Like good, he can't get in, and then they open. He opens
door
up the
pulls
door.
in from the other
It's like,
side.
it
You know.
opened the other way, and then he's just like, "Where's the key? You threw it out the window," and then they jump out the window, get the key, jump back in the room, and then
It was just-
unlock the door, and it's like, "Ha! See you later, sucker."
It's like Three Stooges level comedy from the
Yeah.
old days.
Oh yes, I
Like,
mean,
it's so good.
but no, you're talking about like
that stuff, yeah.
cartoons that stick with you. I mean, Looney Tunes has to be
Yeah.
on that list.
Oh, Looney Tunes is
I
the
love
nostalgic
Looney
one.
Tunes.
Well, so the thing I was going to bring up, were there any cartoons that stuck with you for the wrong reasons? Like, you didn't like them, but you remember them viscerally to this day. Because for me,
Oh.
it was Courage the Cowardly Dog.
How did you not like
okay,
Courage?
You know,
Okay,
here's
it's
something
not-
that is weird
okay.
to me. I've only seen one full episode of Courage the Coward Dog.
Courage-
I've
I have
never
some on
seen
VHS.
anything else.
It's not that it's like I don't like the show. As an adult, I rewatch it and I'm like, oh, this is actually a very intelligent show.
Oh, it was traumatizing as a kid.
And the theme
It's-
song is like
but-
just narration. The theme song.
Abandon us, Pop. He was a dog.
Stupid dog! You made me look bad.
Like Eustace was such a but like
Eustace
there were
was my
certain
favorite.
episodes that just it freaked my mind out so bad. Like I think the first one where Eustace turns into the chicken or something like that by eating the gross egg or whatever, and then like they
Mhm.
arm wrestle and he rips off the chicken's arm. I'm like,
Mhm.
it messed with my head so bad. But the
There's
other
also
one
the-
that always sits with me is the toe fungus one.
Yeah, Shay.
Oh my
What's Ray
god!
gonna do, Shay?
see, I'm your toe. See, like it's
Gotta rob the
so
bank,
gross
Shay.
because I think it was like Eustace gets it, and then Muriel,
Muriel.
gets it.
Muriel
then
gets it.
Yeah, Muriel gets it, and she's getting swallowed up by her own foot fungus.
Mhm.
And to stop it, he has to lick it, and then his tongue turns into a foot. And I'm like, this show is so fucked. Like it messed with my head as a kid, and I'm like, I cannot watch this. It is
Look, there was
killing me.
There was an episode in which Eustace and Muriel got turned into. I think Muriel got turned into a washing machine. Eustace got turned into a crane with a wrecking ball, and they were put into a
Sounds like him.
gladiatorial fight against each other.
Yeah, it was like wasn't it like was it an alligator?
It was one of the
no,
ones with
no,
the
that was
fox
the
on it.
acting. Yeah, that was the acting one where like How now, brown cow? Like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Such a stupid episode.
But there is the most iconic line from one of the villains of Courage the Cowardly Dog. Return the slab.
Return the slab.
Ain't gonna happen.
Return the slab.
I mean, I
Get
would
off my
say
property. No
I would say-
solicitors.
in time of like, was it growing up when I was in primary school, the TV shows I would normally watch were either like Ed and Eddie, Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, all the nostalgic Cartoon Network like ones, and that Kid Next Door,
cartoons.
basically. And what was there was another one. Just Pokemon anime when it showed up.
Oh, God. So like I as a kid loved Toonami because it was like I could watch like Inuyasha or Full Metal Alchemist at the time. And I distinctly remember that there was one day that I decided, I was like, okay, I'm going to have mom and dad record it because it's super late. And like we had an old VHS tape, like VHS for okay, kids that are young. A VHS tape is like a DVD, but it's fat and it uses film. And you had to record over it. So you couldn't just click the record button on your TV and like, cool, it's done. No, you had to put the tape in. You had to rewind it all the way to the beginning to the blank section. Set the timer. Wait for it. You had to make sure that it also spun. If it didn't spin, you didn't record it. So kids, you have it easy. You didn't have to record over National Geographic special on sharks so you could watch Full Metal Alchemist.
This is also back in, this is the old days where when we wanted to go on the internet, we had to make sure nobody was on the phone and we had to summon the Antichrist to get on the internet.
Yeah. Yeah, and you also had to somehow not go deaf by singing things like
You know, I played that sound for a
so
6-year-old once about a couple years ago. And he asked me, he's like, what is that? I was like, that was the sound of the internet. He's like, he's like, no, it
You
is.
would have thought we were being invaded by aliens or something. He's like, I heard this. It was a murmur from Saturn. It's like, no, that was the internet. But to kind of wrap that story up really quickly, I asked them to record a show at like 12:30 to midnight. Oh, sorry, 12:30 to 1. Well, they misplaced the timer and they moved it 1 hour. So it wasn't Full Metal Alchemist. It was Metalocalypse. And I was 10.
Just letting you know, you have me for 5 more minutes, and then I'm going to duck off so I can do exercise, so my dad doesn't knock on my door again and say,
I think we're getting close to the point of wrapping it up, honestly. But like,
hold on, I need to know what Metalocalypse is.
It is a death metal parody cartoon. And literally, there's like constant vulgarity. I think there was nudity in the episode. And like, I just remember.
I pulled up some pictures, and all the characters are in BDSM work.
Yeah,
like leather.
If you can,
harness.
Just put up the title screen. Don't put any of the raunchy stuff, please. I don't want to get you flagged.
So I shouldn't put up this thing with them in the in their BDSM stuff.
Also, one thing that I think, cartoons have evolved over the years.
Yeah,
from
worse.
No, they haven't gone worse.
Yes, they have.
It's evolved to society, and society has changed what is acceptable and what's not acceptable.
Yeah.
Like, for example, Ren and Stimpy was fine for like the first couple years, and then if you try to play Ren and Stimpy now, no.
You know, actually, there was an episode of Cow and Chicken that got banned from air because it had a woman biker gang called the Carpet Munchers, and they would come in and just
Buffalo Gals, won't you come out
tonight? That was a dark time.
Come out tonight.
And if you don't know what that means by Carpet Muncher, let's just say that they
don't ask your parents until you're at least 15.
Yes, exactly. Basically, they liked
don't
girls.
Repeat it. Yeah.
It
is a derogatory term, and it was. I mean, you could not have gotten away with that now. There's no way.
They didn't get away with it then.
Yeah, they got away. Well, I mean, there was the episode
it aired
of
once
Dexter's Lab that was like.
There's a lot of times in cartoons where they can just get away with something, and you wonder to yourself, how? Like you watch it as a child, and you're like, you don't think about it, but then when you get older, you're just like, how did they get past that?
Actually, the greatest thing is, and I'm sorry. It's not animated. It's actually from the first season of Saturday Night Live, in which there is a scene between Chevy Chase, which is one of the main hosts, and the special guest star of that week, which was Richard Pryor, who was an African American. He was an African American comedian, great comedian, great delivery, And there was a scene where Chevy Chase was interviewing Richard Pryor for a job.
I know exactly the scene you're talking about.
And it started like a normal one. They were going to do a quick word association. And it started like, tree, snow. And it just kept going out. And then it just devolved into
summer,
Yeah, it devolved
blatant
into
racism.
racial slurs back and forth.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say anything.
They dropped the N-word in the episode. I'm not going to obviously say it out loud myself.
It was immediately followed by honky.
Then he drops the N-word, and then he goes dead honky, and it's like that. It was funny. It's funny. It's a great bit.
Shit.
But now it's like, that skit would not fly.
You would never get that on the air.
No, because you would never be able to. But like certain things you could do and can't do. There are certain things we can do now that we couldn't do back then. For example, with Star Trek, actually, is a great example. Do you remember you're probably not old enough to have experienced it firsthand. Do you remember what was the most controversial thing about that entire series?
Well, the original series?
Yeah, the most controversial scene of all time.
Kirk kissed Uhura.
Why was it controversial?
Because it was made in the 1960s and the civil rights movement was brand new and it was not socially acceptable for
it was the first ever on television interracial kiss.
But the thing is, I mean, sci-fi has always been known to stretch the envelope of what's acceptable.
Yeah,
they've been doing that for years. I'm
pretty
sure sci-fi was the first time you had things like a same-sex couple.
Yeah, you think about cartoons differently the older you get, and it's something that if you're like our age, take a second, go back and watch some of those old cartoons. You will see so many new things. I mean,
you'll see something that you didn't see before.
And the best thing to watch if you really want to see this firsthand is especially if you watch Shrek as a child and watch it now as an adult. The amount of innuendo in that
maybe
movie.
he's compensating for something.
Well, I'd have to save my ass.
Yeah, that was the thing I was thinking about. I was going to say, like, that'd be actually a great idea of what we can do for the sign off. So, I mean, we each recommend something, go back, rewatch it, and get the full context. I mean,
mine is Shrek. Right out of the gate.
Is fantastically a great pick. For me, it would have to be, honestly, I would have to still say Ren and Stimpy. Ren and Stimpy pushed the envelope harder than any cartoon ever did, and they got banned super hard. Like, maybe them or the Angry Beavers.
Angry Beavers. Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, also, voice actor, one of the main voice actors is Billy from Billy and Mandy and Invader Zim.
Damn.
Yeah, sorry to throw that at you. And Metrone, you got any cartoons you can think of for, people to go back? Like, anything like that?
Not like that, not like exactly as a major, impact, but, if I have to, recommend something, and this is going to sound a little bit weird, but it might be just the Land Before Time films. That's
nostalgia and
that's classic.
I have those on VHS tape, man. I'm not gonna lie.
I haven't seen a Land Before Time in forever.
But if you get a chance, rewatch the SpongeBob seasons. Granted, they were short mini episodes; they're 15 minutes a piece. They're chock full of those. Everybody remembers the scallop episode where SpongeBob and Patrick adopt the scallop.
Yeah,
literally, Patrick and SpongeBob, very end of the episode, they're watching it fly off. It's there he goes.
Was it? Give a look at the first 4 seasons of SpongeBob. They're so
gold.
good.
They're gold.
What about the one
amazing.
where they're doing pirate stuff? Look, doubloons and it's bars and stuff. Don't drop them.
Yeah, but the end of that scallop episode, Patrick looks at SpongeBob and is like, "Let's have another," and I'm like, "What?"
Was it?
It threw me for such a loop because as a kid, I'm like, haha, they're going to adopt another one. As an adult, I'm like, Patrick is going to fuck SpongeBob.
One episode that's still funny to me is I forget what the name of the episode was. It's where SpongeBob is waiting for the bus at the bus stop. Where I forget what it was called, but how he's just waiting there and he's just he sees a vending machine and he's just he looks left and right, and he's just he quickly runs through it, and then the bus is there, and it just takes off.
Actually, you guys ever seen the cut of the SpongeBob episode where they learn how to swear?
Yeah.
With the actual words?
Crabs is, and it's he reads it off.
Face.
Isn't that, it just had sounds to that?
Yeah, they put dolphin noises.
I remember watching that episode.
The original cut actually had them swearing.
I forget.
Nice
What did
fucking
Mr.
day.
Krabs says it was? It was he said
It was all 7.
7.
There are
Like, he
7
just
swear words, and I can go through them if you want.
I forget. Like he said there was a name for them. Like it's the
Oh God, I'm trying to remember. it too. It's
pirate words or something. I forget what it was.
Yeah,
like he said
sailor
something.
words or something.
Sailor
like
words. That's it. It was something like
Yeah.
that. Sailor words.
It's like Mr. Krabs. I said all the curse words. All 11? I thought there were 7. Only if you're a sailor. Like, that's what
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I love. God, but anyway, yeah. I wanted to end the. We gotta like end it. Go back if you get a chance. Go back, watch cartoons from your childhood. You will see so many jokes that you did not realize as a kid.
Also,
Disney's full of them too.
I've seen a few. What was it? Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. There was some stuff I didn't notice back then because now I just realized, Grim just does not like these two. He's like enslaved.
Yeah, I mean, it's really funny until you realize he's literally a slave. Like,
yeah,
it's
because
like,
I was just like, this is such a fun, and I'm just like, dear God, he's enslaved, and every time he's saying like when he has the chance to get rid of him, he's just like, oh, this is the happiest moment of my life.
yeah.
Actually, my
Basically,
favorite line Sorry.
His greatest thing is he's emancipated. Like, it's like, oh, great, like, and people are like, oh, well, he's not stuck with Billy Mandy. Like, yeah, he's not stuck in an abusive relationship.
Although, no, my favorite episode, or my favorite line is when Billy asks Grimm's like, why do the good die young? Well, mostly because they get confused.
One episode I like is I feel like there was like very short episodes in the first season of Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. They could just be shorts. I like one episode where they're throwing a surprise party for Mandy, and then she's just like, "Did Billy tell you that my birthday is until like 6 months?" And Billy's just like, "That's what makes it a real surprise." And then Grim was just like destroyed inside. He was so upset.
Actually, you're talking about the abusive relationship. Remember when Mandy used Grim as bowling pins?
Oh God, yeah. Well, like, so there's actually something I do want to say, because this actually came up on stream, and I want to address something with one of these characters.
Sure.
I'm gonna go back just to voice acting for real quick, and then we might have to wrap this up.
Yeah,
I think we're pretty much out of time here.
Talking about these characters, it got me thinking because Billy and Mandy, Billy's voice is the same as Invader Zim. The character Gurr in Invader Zim is a fantastically lovable character.
I love Gurr.
And somebody asked me, hey, can you do Gurr's voice? I will say right now, I can't. I looked into it. It is physically impossible to do Gurr's voice because it is not one line read through. The guy reads it up to 6 different times at least, and they choose 4 of them, and they layer them in together, so he reverberates. So it's like he hits they pitch the tone up, and then they also replay it at 4 different intervals in like octaves, and they also alter the pitch just slightly enough so that you have this very synthetic voice. I can't do that, and it's like I've been thinking about it for a long time, and I had yet to address it, but it makes me mad that it's like I can't do that one. But somebody's like, "Can you do it?" And I was like, "I'll try."
Most lovable voices ever.
Mm-hmm. God, Gurr is so great.
But anyway,
you want to know what I think is the most lovable supervillain in any TV show?
The Trickster.
Dr. Doofenshmirtz. I think.
He is like low key. Can I? That's not bad.
Because he says so many backstories where I'm just like, I feel sorry for this dude.
He's not a villain. He's a very tortured soul.
He is actually a loving father, and everybody's like, "Oh, how dare he be evil?" And his daughter doesn't like it. I'm like,
"Oh, actually, I'm an evil scientist."
It's like, "Oh, sweetie, don't worry. We're going to go skiing today in the tri-state area." It's like, he's so
a platypus plumber, Perry the platypus plumber. Perry the platypus.
Perry the platypus. He just takes off the hat and he's just like, I don't even know who is this guy.
The gags are great, and like you always feel bad for his character because like honestly he's still got the brother complex, but that's just great character writing. Like where they literally took this most absurd characters like my parents didn't love me. They didn't love me so much they didn't even show up for my birthday when I was born, and like the parents are mixing from like the delivery, and I'm like. That's hilarious.
But it's also
so sad.
Yeah, God, it's so sad. But when you invert it, like he tries to take care of his daughter, which they never address who her mother was, and like and he's genuinely caring, and she's like, oh, whatever, Dad. And I'm like, no.
Have you heard
You
the fan
don't do
theory
that to
that
Dr. Doofenshmirtz.
have you
What's
heard
up?
the theory that Dr. Doofenshmirtz is Phineas' father?
Yeah, it makes
Phineas'
sense.
father. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
It makes sense. They have the triangle-shaped head.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing closest, I guess.
I didn't take too many genome classes in high school, but I do know triangle-shaped head is not a common thing. Although his brother looks like a fucking faucet. Squeaky. But anyway, I think we should end it here. I think this is good.
Sure.
Mac,
Yes,
you want to
okay.
wrap us out?
Yeah, we're gonna close out. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us for the episode of the
Idiots of Randomness.
Idiots. Yes, that one. This has been episode 4. I have no idea what the title's gonna be yet. It's been like just random. This is proper
Nipple the
randomness. Nipple the
Nipple the mouse. I want it to be nipple.
Okay, we can.
If you want something else better,
Or can we just like
go for it.
Nipple the mouse
Zork's
is
tragic
pretty damn good.
childhood where he
Title: Fond
has
memories
scars.
of
You
Nipple
want
the
to know how he
mouse.
got these scars?
Fond memories of Nipple the mouse, and just put,
That's what it's gonna be. That I think.
just put like pasties on his like shirt. And he's
Glorious.
like, yeah.
I want to.
All right.
Yes.
Make shirts now. Make shirts.
Yeah.
I want to
Nipples
thank.
the mouse.
I want to thank Meta Metrone Chris, whatever you want to call yourself. Thank you for coming
Just call
in as
me.
always.
You can call me whatever you want.
Meta, you're just
Sweet
Meta.
chicks.
Yeah.
Sweet chicks.
And thank you very much.
Sweet chicks. You're doing fantastic.
And thank you very much, Zork, for joining us as our special guest of the week.
You're welcome, man.
Thank you very much.
I'm always happy to be on the podcast.
He's currently
You know that.
streaming.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now for
So go
soulless plugs.
check out his Twitch.
Soul's plug. I don't have a soul, so I can't do that. But
Wait,
if you want
you're
to,
not
you're welcome
ginger.
to follow me. What's up?
You're not Ginger.
No, I sold mine for years. How else do I do these voices, man? I talk to the devil. But you guys can check me out on Twitch as I think the real Zork65. Feel free to give me a follow and stuff like
There'll be
that.
a
I
link
stream
down
on a regular
below.
basis. Yeah, there will be a link. But thank you guys for having me. It's been fun. I'm really hoping. I hope I can come back.
I'm glad
Hopefully
to have you
audience
on the
loves me.
podcast.
We need to have you back because this has been
Yeah.
absolutely fantastic.
This has been a blessing.
Hopefully for one that we have a
so
little bit more
much more to
planning in
talk
it.
about.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, we're out of time.
I hope the
Uh,
audience likes me and will have me back. If not,
Well-
I'll sneak my way on here and it probably like
He
a Metro
will
costume.
come
Just
back
randomly
somehow.
jump into the
There's
call
no
and it's like,
stopping
I'll
him.
come in wearing Metrone's skin and like, hi, I'm Metro.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Wow.
I
that'll
don't
be
know
our
why you sound
Halloween
like a
episode. where
goblin,
you-
but sure.
That'll be the Halloween episode where
Anyway.
you get to be Leatherface.
Bubba.
But thank you very much for
Yeah.
joining us for this episode of the Idiots of Randomness. It's been fun, and we'll catch you on the next one. Later.
See you
Bye,
all next
everybody.
time. All right, now just to make sure
That was a
everybody's
clean clap. That was a
Yeah,
really
nice.
clean clap.
Yeah,
It was like
I
resonant.
have
It was like
solid hands.
to make sure
like
that nobody
smacking a
is
baby's
deafened in
butt.
Discord. Let's all wave to the person in the camera. You know, acting like I cannot see them. I'm talking about you, Zork.
Hi, fans.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Hi, Metrone, who deafened in Discord but has the webcam still on because he didn't realize that.
That was the funniest shit in the world.
I just see all three of you, Spider Mac, you're all looking into your webcam, just looking at me.
Should we explain what that means? Like, is this part going to be in the podcast or anything like that? Or
Oh, well,
Yeah,
I mean,
if
he has
anything, it'll be,
bloopers. He
outtakes.
could just,
It'll be outtakes.
yeah.
Oh, that's
It does.
perfect. Okay, so for context about that, it was Spider, Metrone, Mac, and myself. We were all, what were we playing? Like cards or something? No, it was Scribblio.
Yeah,
And
Scribbly.
we wrapped it all up. Everything was really fun and everything like that and fine. And Metrone over here decided that he was just going to mute himself and just he forgot to turn off the camera. So
Not
we
realizing
just
that
watched
muting
you and
doesn't
we
stop
were
the
literally
webcam.
going like,
Yeah.
talking about. He's talking to his mom on his phone. Or, like we were just like,
What we were
and,
prayed for was he wasn't
was-
like
I
thinking
was
that we
watching
weren't here. He
YouTube
starts like
videos.
getting undressed.
Yeah.
So like, "Ah!"
Oh, we were worried like you were gonna start doing some freaky stuff. Like
You're worried about seeing a dick.
didn't I say like wait for him to start rubbing his nipples or something? Just like it was like really like off topic or something like that. And I was like, wait for it.
I don't see
But-
why I would ever need to do that because, like, if
You
that's
shouldn't,
just some
but-
random thing that people do, I don't know what the hell is wrong with you, man. if
It's
you
just
do
like,
that.
you know, there's like the level of like, all right, what's the weirdest thing you could do? But this is like, I started thinking about, I was like, what if we all just stopped, dead stared into our cameras and just started waving?
You just like,
Because
you
it
just let
wasn't
it
mean.
sink in.
It wasn't doing anything obscene. It was just like, hi, we're still here.
Yeah.
You just,
bud.
what you would do is you just
When you went, you were, I think it was like you were just talking and you went and you turned and you just went, like I said, if you at this moment and you just like realize you're like,
yeah, because I was just like, the fuck are these guys doing to me?
The whole thing is better if you had actually started doing something like that and then turn around. The level you'd be as red as I am right now.
oh, it was so good. It was
Immediately.
so good.